Hey, Basky Brains, Kirby here, aka Darkwing Disc. And one time I visited the Virgin Islands. Now they're just called the Islands. Alongside me today is Ollie DePina, and Ollie's prison name would be Mitochondria because he is the powerhouse of the cell. This is episode 44 of the KO Disc Golf Show. KO Disc Golf Show is proud to be the official show of Emerald City Discs. Episode 44, this is the Gloom episode. Famous players that wear the number 44, Hank Aaron is the most famous without a doubt. He's definitely like the number one of all time to wear 44. Some of my favorite Red Sox players to wear the number 44, Rich Hill, Jake Peavy, Jason Bay, Gabe Kapler, and Orlando Cabrera. It's crazy how they just kind of had like a really good run of like kind of mid-level players that I just had a really good like fandom towards that all wore the same number. For the Mariners, definitely the highest impact number 44, Julio Rodriguez, without a doubt. And the Sabres, our number 44 is Alexei Zhitnik. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I tried. All I got for the Kraken and the Giants.
For the Kraken, we had one last year. He played 6 games. Jacob Magna. So shout out to him and his time. He came from San Jose last year and played 6 games, and now he's on Chicago. So good luck to him. And then for the Giants, one of my favorite number 44s, Ahmad Bradshaw, part of one of the best running back duos I got to witness with him and Brandon Jacobs. Best 1-2 punch. Brandon Jacobs just knock it down the middle, and then Ahmad Bradshaw had a couple jukes and everything like that. Some important Super Bowl touchdown scored in 2011 by Ahmad Bradshaw. Just amazing player. Can't speak enough about him.
Nice. Very cool. How's it going, Ollie? How you doing, man?
I'm good. It's I got my car in a little bit of mud yesterday, but luckily I had some North Parkers to come help me out. Sean Martin came through and pulled me out of the mud, and so that stress was gone after a little day's work at Costco. So shout out to Sean Martin. I just got to put that out there for sure. And then Costco's been good, just been working. The snow has been kind of like definitely affecting when you're outside working and stuff. And then I had my best friend moved back from LA, so it's been fun hanging out with him and stuff. So it's been a pretty chill, not too much going on. Got my AGL order in, my first one for the first quarter, so that's like one of the coolest things ever, where I'm like, I just put like 13 discs in the cart and like I'm not paying $1, and it's like that's really cool. So
yeah,
getting to pick out some molds, and then they're sending some additional ones, so that's pretty exciting. I was doing some field work with my bag, and really finding a lot of I have a bunch of different locuses, and it's a 9-speed disc that I have had a lot of success with that I've really liked, and so kind of getting a few different ones that do different things in the different plastics. So having one, now I'm bagging I think 2 right now, because if I bagged more it kind of overflow, like I don't need an overstable one because I'm bagging the Firebird, but definitely having fun figuring out the differences between them and having a few different the same mold but like that does different things I really enjoy, and kind of like feels nice on my brain to have something where it's like, okay, I don't have to grip this any differently. I know how to hold it.
Yeah.
Things like that. So I'm kind of doing that with my bag, simplifying it with the molds. Kind of, it's going a lot more with the AGL, and just like, yeah, I'm really excited about it. So
Nice. What are the different plastics that you're using, and what are the like different flights that you're seeing out of them?
yeah, so for the Locust, I have just a regular Alpine one that's, I believe, like slightly lighter weight. Like I want to say it's like in the 170, so like still in that max weight range, but like definitely the lower scale of it. And this one, I'm noticing when I throw it on a hyzer, like around like this degree, like not, like I don't really know the number with that, but like a certain degree hyzer, like a good amount of hyzer, pops up to flat, rides a little bit of right, and then has that like a reliable like finish, which I really like. Which I feel like the finish was hard for me to figure out because I would just kind of get up there and try to throw it as hard as I can, where I'm taking a little bit off of my throw and kind of getting that sweet spot where the disc likes to be like flipped up and like actually get the flight out of it. So noticing that, I have a lichen, like more clear one. So the other one I have is like kind of more of like a starry one, it feels like that it's not see-through plastic, but the other one see-through, has like a couple like lichen like little specks in it.
Okay.
And
What did you say?
that one,
What is
huh?
Lichen specs.
The lichen specs, that's kind of like how if you saw like Metal Flake or something like that, I
Yeah.
forget what the
Okay.
specs are
They're based.
exactly, but yeah, it's kind of like their Metal Flake, and they're like, so it's like it adds a little bit more. I've noticed, not exactly true, like you're not just gonna get a more stable version of that disc if you have this like that the lichen version of it. So that was kind of hard to figure out with, but I found one, got it from my old team captain Nuke. So shout out to him, and I was playing around with it some more, and it's one of the older ones. And another thing with the Locust, they changed the mold up a little bit, so I think this one has like either a slight, I believe it's something with the bead. It has to do with it.
Hmm.
Um, I was playing with it last week, and my brain's just gone a little bit,
Yeah,
like
look,
a few steps from it. So I got to go
yeah.
back to it and look at it. But that one has been awesome for like a little more stability, where I can put on that hyzer, flip up, doesn't really get that right turn, and just kind of pushes straight. Not as, and then like has a similar fade, but not too much. The fades were like very minimal, so
Mhm.
kind of testing those ones out more. Um,
Cool.
and then the other plastic I really like from them, though, that I like throw for most of my mid ranges is like an Alpine. And so for those who don't know, Woodland is like a softer, kind of grippier plastic, and then Alpines, they're like harder, more premium plastic line that they have. And so the Alpine hemp is what I really like. That's probably, it's like my favorite grip of any of the discs that they have. Favorite feel. I feel like it beats in the best, and then I feel like it stays like the flight. Once it beats in, it stays like pretty like that for the most majority of the rest of its life in the Alpine hemp.
Okay. Would you say
Yeah.
it's like star plastic or like ESP?
I don't know too much about the ESP plastic. I'd say it's kind of star and champy in a way.
Okay.
Like and it depends on the plastic type even further than that. Like I have an Alpine one that's like a little more clear, and then I have an Alpine one that's a little more like like not as like you can't see through it or anything. Um, Definitely learning more about the discs and the plastic, I think, is really fun. So it's something that I've been trying to do and stuff. And so like, and the best way to do that, I think, is just being active on the page. So like, I'll hop on lives, asking Josh. I've had to have Josh correct me on like, hey, like I ordered a disc. I was like, this. I kind of noticed like a little bead. He's like, no, that shouldn't have a bead. He's like, the bead should be on this one. So it's cool like learning the different things about the different discs and
Yeah.
stuff. But and how the molds have changed, because they definitely are a company where things are not ever changing, but there's change, and there's like they're growing and stuff like that. So it's definitely cool to see like where they've come from. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
How you doing, Curb?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah. I mean, I closed the shop yesterday. I spent all morning on the couch being like, dude, I'm gonna leave anytime now as soon as it stops snowing, and it just never stops snowing. So yeah, ECD was closed yesterday, so I spent the day, made some like good pulled pork. So Ellie and I had like Cuban sandwiches last night, and it was cool. Yeah, we're gonna have like pulled pork nachos and stuff like that. Basically, I have pulled pork everything for the next like 5 days because I made so freaking much. So
Kind of how you do it, though. I feel like.
oh, for sure. Yeah, it came out really good. So um, this was really silly. I was getting home the other night. I think this was like Friday or Saturday night, and my wife puts like a wreath or some kind of like door decoration, on the front door. And I put my key in, and as I open it up, the wreath starts moving, and then a bird comes shooting out and like kind of like hits me in the face like with its wing
Oh,
and shoots into the tree. And I was like, and like I was like, oh my god! It took me a second to figure out what just happened and what was going on. It was crazy though. I never expected all of a sudden like you're just putting your key in your door and you get twacked in the face by this bird who's like,
that's
yeah,
jump scare at its finest.
this bird who's pissed that I messed up his house. So that was pretty silly. I went and played Fenwick with my buddy Derek. That was really cool. I shot pretty well. I shot 11 down, and we skipped a hole because they were doing like maintenance and all that. So good time with him. I like hanging out with Derek. Today's Brian's birthday. Happy birthday, Brian. That's awesome.
Shout out, boss man, Big B.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. And then the other thing, I've been kind of locked in on wrestling lately, and the Royal Rumble was the other night, so that was really really fun to watch. Ellie and I were like laying in bed watching the Royal Rumble, and she's next to me, kind of like dozing off a little bit as I'm finishing it up. And if you're not familiar, Roman Reigns, when he comes out, everybody like puts a finger up to acknowledge him as the tribal chief, and it's just this kind of like fun thing to do. So he comes up, and Ellie's like half asleep, and I'm like, Ellie, I was like, Roman Reigns is out. You got to acknowledge the tribal chief. And she's laying there. She just goes, and I was like, okay, good. So that was really fun. I was Man, I was like crazy surprised by the winner. Like nobody expected Jimmy or Jey Uso to pull out the win, but yeah, main event Jey Uso pulling it off was really cool to watch. Should be interesting to see like what his storyline like is going forward and kind of like what they do with him. So wrestling is definitely making a comeback. I was big into it when I was a kid, and I'm kind of getting back into it now, like as a bit of an adult. So it's been fun. Yeah, I made Ellie watch Raw with me last night, and the whole time she's like, "This is dumb," and then like a minute later she goes, "Okay, that was a cool move," and I was like, "You don't think this is that dumb? Like I think you kind of like this." So, um, yeah, that's really all I got going on, though. Yeah, I've just been at the shop a bunch. I am going to California next week. I have confirmed that trip. I had to work some stuff out with Ellie because we got to do like an adoption class. So we have an adoption class that either is going to take place like while I'm away or in April. So we're going to just do the April one.
Yep.
And I am going to go for sure. So really looking forward to it. They just dropped like the caddy book and all that yesterday. So I watched that this morning, like pretty early. Yeah, a lot of
That
low ceilings there was pretty fun. And then the areas that don't have a low ceiling, it's just like completely wide open, just desert holes. So if it
I
does,
love Oak Grove. I really like playing. I didn't think it was. Yeah, it's not the longest and
mm,
it's not like the craziest, but the low ceilings and the trees that are there are like you. If you hit it, you're going down. Like it's not like a you'll hit it and blow by it. You're gonna
yeah,
hit the tree and you're gonna go straight down, or you're gonna go like get a huge misdirection. But it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for you to go play that tournament.
yeah. There's one hole where I was like, "Yo, this hole's kind of messed up, dude." It's I think it's 420, but like in previous years and like other coverage, it's been a par four. It's been a little longer, just on the other side of this path. But it's basically where like a really really incredible second shot would end up if you're going for like the easy par layup. So I was looking at this hole and I'm like, I don't think I can physically birdie this hole. You know, just looking at the shape, how low the line is, how far it is, I was like, I don't think that there's like a real gap here or anything like that. So I'm excited to get out there and play it. I got some like my planned trip to go down there is I'm going to stop at this place called it's called like Browns and Bows or Bows and Browns. One of those.
That's the AGL place.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah, bro, go say hi to Josh for
yeah,
me. Come
dude, yeah.
on.
So the plan is to go down there because they have like a campsite and they have like the pro shop and it's like a 27 hole course.
Yeah, that's where the AGL Open's gonna
Oh,
be.
dude,
No way.
that's so funny. I had no idea. Yeah. So the plan is to stop there, play, camp out, and then wake up early the next morning and play. And then that's like 6 hours north of Oak Grove. So then I'll just bomb down and be at Oak Grove, and I have like 2 days of practice, 2.5 days of practice Oak Grove. So that's crazy. I had no idea that that's the same place. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm definitely planning on stopping by. I want to check out. I mean, I've seen a bunch of like really good reviews of it. They have a pro shop in that I want to pop in and see. So
If you, yeah, you gotta say hi. If you see, I might have to throw you some money to pick up a couple AGL discs for me,
yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see what's up down there for sure. Yeah,
dude. And also, hey, Josh, if you're watching, we're gonna go to you to get the interview.
yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Knocking at the door.
time you when I'm in there and pick out some cool stuff.
Heck yeah, heck yeah,
That's sweet. Cool.
dude. That's so cool. I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, should be a lot of fun.
I was looking at going down around March or something for that AGL Open, but I think I'm gonna be in Mexico during that. So
Oh yeah.
a little trade off there, but I will be at if I don't know if you could see it very well, but I lost another. I had one here last episode, but I lost another fight against a bush in a tree. My disc was in the I'm not paying attention. I don't know what's going on, and I just like boom, and I'm like, thank God it wasn't my eye, and I like put my hand up and I looked down and there was just blood, and I was like,
The worst.
yeah. So I'm 0-2 against branches right now.
Yeah. Years ago, I when I was living with like one of my ex-girlfriends, she had a dog who I was playing with in the morning, and I went to pick up his toy and I hit my face over here on the corner of a chair and I gashed my eye open where it was like dripping blood. And I just like, and in my mind I was like, well, I'm not like gonna go to the hospital, like I'm not gonna go to the doctor, like what are they gonna do, like stitch me up or glue me up, like that sucks. So I just kept it bandaged and I was like going to work and like I was having to like I was working as a chef on the line, and I would have to walk off the line like every 2 hours and go and like re-bandage it because I would start to like bleed through it and stuff like that. And after like 2 days of that, I was like, I 100% should have went and gotten stitches because this thing is it was so deep and like right under my eye. I was like, thank God it was like here
And
and
not like, yeah.
I would have
Oh my god.
yeah 100% blind in that eye, like crazy. Nah, you gotta watch out for that shit, bro. You gotta keep that pretty face up. You know, we're gonna give you one more week before we're gonna get that model pose and its name. So,
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of forgot, but I remembered this morning and forgot to put in the show notes. So next week for sure,
Next week, I got you.
he's gonna give us this model look. We got to keep up that pretty face. So, yeah, model look and name coming next week.
Yeah, the first person I texted was my photographer, and I was like, bro, and he's like, you gotta stop.
That's so funny. He's like, knock it off, man. I need you. Yeah. Yeah, so there was no tournaments this past weekend, just a lot of team golf stuff. You know, we're not really covering team golf. Some cool disc golf news. Kona and Ricky both gone from Dynamic Discs. Kona back to Innova. That just seems like such like an easy layup. It made all the sense in the world. She has to be like one of the biggest like what ifs. Like I think there's a parallel universe somewhere where Kona and Haley King are pushing Paige Pierce and Katrina Allen out of the sport, or like pushing them kind of at their final days, and those two are taking over FPO like undoubtedly. Like a few years ago when Kona signed the deal with Dynamic, like it seemed like such a shoe-in. Her and Kristen at the time Kristen was the talent, Kona was the social media, the personality and all that. And I don't know. I'm still a big fan of hers, and I'm obviously going to root for her to succeed. Hopefully going back to Innova kind of sparks a little something for her. So
Yeah, she with her dad, and
yeah,
so it works out.
for sure. So good for her. I hope it all works out.
I don't know if you know this. I met Kona's cousin when I was working at Big Mario's, and this is when I first got into disc golf, and I was just talking to everyone about disc golf. I was like, hey, I found this thing I love. And I was talking to everyone about it, and she was like, are you talking about disc golf? Her cousin was, and I was like, yeah. She's like, my cousin plays, and she's like pretty big. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, she's just got married. And I was like, and it was this summer where like Simon got married, I want to say. She got married. It was like there was Germ got married, I think, also. So I was like, I probably know of her if she got married in the disc golf scene. And she's like, yeah, my cousin's Kona. And she goes and she's DMing her. And then she ended up getting me a signed disc and some stickers and some cool shit. When I was like, no way, that's just like so cool. So appreciated that a lot. And then I ended up meeting Kona at Cascade, and I was talking to her about it, and she was like, and it was cool to put the two together. So
cool. Nah,
very cool. A big fan of Kona.
Yeah, she seems great. She was one of the early like social media like disc golf stars, right? Like she was ahead of it before anybody else was doing it. So I don't know, rooting for her, hope to see
her, for sure.
Love to see her back in that high contention kind of level. Evan Smith to Dynamic Discs. It's cool. I mean, I think more than anything, it just kind of shows that Dynamic Discs isn't shutting down or whatever everybody kind of thought they were. I didn't really think that was the case, but I don't know. I don't really think that's like that huge of a deal, but it's cool. It's just like a little signal that says like we're not totally out of it kind of thing. And then the big news is Ricky Wysocki signs with Discraft. I had heard some rumors about this a little over a week ago, and literally as we were jumping on to start the episode, Ollie sent me a thing over on Instagram, right before we started, and it said, it's just Ricky to Discraft, which is really crazy. So, yeah, there's a new Raptor begins. Really, really crazy. Shout out Derek for that one. Yeah, no, really crazy. I heard about this a little bit about a week ago or so. Yeah, really, really interesting. Do you have any like big thoughts about it?
Yeah, it's a lot of speculation that came to be fruition with the what was the Swarm or whatever that was on his counter that one day. Definitely really interesting. Is this the first time Discraft's going to have 9 male members on the elite team? some questions that just come into my head with that, which I don't think it's crazy. I don't really see the significance in 8, honestly. Like I don't like there's no significance in that. I just maybe I'm new enough. I don't know if that's like we've always done it that way. I don't know. So just something that as a newer player that I'm intrigued by. And then but yeah, I think it's interesting. I think they definitely are a powerhouse and hard to match up against, but do they there's just the question is like I don't even know if they do have world championship caliber players, but do I see any of their players winning a world soon? Like that's just where
Yeah.
yeah.
I was just telling you, a little bit ago that Isaac Robinson had posted in the one disc golf discussion group asking like House of Discs, top whatever 8 players or Discraft's top, highest rated 8 players or whatever they might be, and who wins more next season. And I don't know, if you look at like pure wins, just as far as like tournament wins, like I gotta go with House of Disc because you got Gannon, you got Isaac. I wouldn't be surprised if like Alden Harris pops off. There's a lot of talent over there. Even though Discraft, like if you go by average finish, then it's probably Discraft because their average finish is probably going to be really high. Where those Discmania guys or the House of Disc guys like. Matty O could pop off and win an event next year, and nobody would.
Nicholas Antela.
Yep. Yeah, exactly, right? There's so many guys that could pop off and win a tournament, but the Discraft team is just so deep, like top to bottom, and all those guys are going to be fighting for top 10, top 15, like every week. So
yeah,
really,
100%,
really exciting. So, it is pretty similar to something else that's happened recently in the sports world. Luka has been traded to the Dodgers, basically to the Dodgers, to the Lakers. I'm so used to saying LA Dodgers with all the guys they're picking up.
yeah.
So I was hearing another podcast talk about this, and I thought of a pretty good, like, what these, like, what does this mean in disc golf? Like someone's like, hey, tell me what this trade means in disc golf terms. What does trading Luka for Anthony Davis, like, what would that mean in disc golf terms? And my thought is that Luka would be really comparable to Anthony Barella, and then Anthony Davis would be really similar to Paul McBeth. So it would be like if you traded Paul McBeth for Anthony Barella.
I think that's pretty close. I think that Anthony Barella to Luka is a good analogy, but I think Paul McBeth's more like a LeBron. Like Anthony Davis has won a championship, but isn't like as established as like a multiple-time champion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like maybe like it's like trading off, and then he is 7 years older. So on the later, so like a 25-year-old versus a 32-year-old in the NBA, and so I think that's a pretty good trade-off age-wise and stuff like that. I don't know like anything more comparable. I guess it'd maybe be like a Ricky, but like Paul, I think hits it pretty much right on the head.
Yeah. Ricky's still younger than people give him credit for. Like, I don't know that Ricky's...
How old is he?
I don't even think he's 30 yet. Or if he is, he's like barely 30. I was trying to find someone who was...
31.
31, yeah. I was trying to find somebody who wasn't like...
31, 32, Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's actually better than I thought it would be. I just thought Ricky was maybe a little too, almost like too big and too good to be like, I don't know. I don't know that much about NBA really, but Anthony Davis doesn't seem like he's like a top 7, top 10 player in the.
He is.
Is he still?
Yeah.
Oh no shit.
No, I think people are like really undermining him because the Mavericks did lose the trade because they gave away a superstar at 25 years old that didn't want to leave, that literally wanted to be there. So I think there's so many, like, there was a report that he was just like crying. He just bought a $15 million house in Dallas. And there was like, one of his old teammates said he was like crying about it. Like, he did not want to get traded. Like, there are so many things of him wanting to be there. So I think people are really negative towards Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is an NBA champion. Anthony Davis was debatably the best player on the Lakers. Of course, LeBron's great, but like, Anthony Davis, while LeBron's role kind of shifted, he's more of a playmaker, facilitator. Anthony Davis was that other piece that was scoring 30 a night, that was scoring and like winning, helping him win a championship. So I think it's hard because Anthony Davis is getting like a lot of hate and a lot of like, It's terrible because it is a bad trade, and like no matter how you look at it, so it just kind of sucks. I think Anthony Davis is like he is kind of comparable to a Ricky in a sense. Like he is a top big man in the league. Like I don't think there's a better. There's like better big men for sure. There's like Nikola Jokic, who's like MVP guy. That's like the top tier center. But even Anthony Davis plays more. He likes to play the 4 more than the 5. So he's debatably one of the best power forwards in basketball with that, and under like Giannis Antetokounmpo and a couple other guys, but he's still good. So I think it's just hard, but it's a huge, and I think if you look at it, it's like probably one of the biggest trades in sports history. Like it's up there. It's really, really up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I was telling you, the first time I saw it on Instagram, I was like, oh, that would be hilarious. And then I moved on and I was like, ha ha ha, that's really funny. And then again, and I was like, wait a minute, like there's a little too many of these popping up. And then some valid sources started popping it up and you're like, holy crap. Like, this is real.
And I guess it was the organization being upset with him being his conditioning. And, like, I guess he got up to, like, 270, which I'm like, if he's 270 and he still moves and he's still playing, like, I just don't care. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He just took your team to a finals. Like,
yeah.
And there's a lot of clips coming up, like, after they won the conference and they're, like, wearing the hat and they're celebrating. He had a beer in his hand. The owner comes down, takes the beer out of his hand. He's just like, and it's like that picture kind of came back up again, and it's pretty funny, honestly. But I'm like, get this guy out of here. You can have beer in LA.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
He also lost out on this trade, so he could have, this summer he would have been able to sign the Supermax, which would have been $350 million in Dallas. But because of that, he's ineligible for that. So now I think I'm not saying this like a bad way. It's a huge amount of money. He can make like 220 or something like that now.
Wow.
So he's losing out on like $125 million or something like that, where this organization kind of just shafted him.
Kind of fucked him over. That's crazy. Yeah, really interesting. People are like outraged by it. People are like losing their freaking mind. So
I didn't think it was real. I
don't know that much about basketball, but even I'm like, holy crap, that's huge. Jeez. Yeah. All right. Getting right into our next topic. This is the NHL Check In. This is two guys who don't know much about hockey talking about hockey. All right. So my plan for the Sabres this year has shifted. I'm not tuning in as much to every game, day in and day out. I'm kind of checking in on them like as an organization, them as a whole, because I'm trying to brush up and really want to get into next year because the team sucks. So I'm already kind of like, hey, this year we're just going to figure the team out. We're going to look at a couple of our key guys, and that kind of thing, and then hopefully start building towards next year. And next year will be my day-to-day hockey kind of thing. One of the cool things that Sabres did is they put a Sabres legend, Rob Ray, into the Sabres Hall of Fame. As a kid, I remember watching Rob Ray. He was our goon. He was our fighter. I spent a good amount of time the other day watching Rob Ray fight, like highlight videos, and him versus like Ty Domi. Their fights are crazy. Like Rob Ray gets up in there and it's like 1-2 punches, third punch, all of a sudden your helmet's ripped off and then you're getting hit 5-6 more times. And like the other guy's like, what the hell just happened? Like, he was awesome. Some of those fight videos are so good. So if you got some time later, I highly recommend going through like a YouTube rabbit hole of watching like Rob Ray hockey fights and just like his top 10 compilation. You're like, the hands were so fast. Like they're coming so hard.
Just go check out the KO Disc Golf Show YouTube history. While I'm editing it, you'll see the rabbit hole I go down.
It was a lot of fun watching them the other day, and I was like texting my dad about it. And I'm like, "Hey man, what's up with the Sabres? Why do they look like kids getting bullied around?" He's like, "They're pussies." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So
I think it's kind of funny. Organizations do this too. It kind of happened with the Giants being bad the last couple of years. They, like they're having a bad season. And you're like, hey, we're not doing too great. Let's get the old player in here. Let's retire him. Yep. It's kind of like we got to give him something. We just had Eli Manning, I think, this year. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's dude. The organization's got to please the fans somehow,
So the Sabres have not been to the playoffs in 14 seasons. This is probably going to be season number 15, realistically. So they haven't been in that long. This is only like their second or third player they've inducted into the Sabres Hall of Fame. Like they just like don't do that. Yeah, it's all like broadcasters. It's people that have been like with the organization for like a lifetime kind of thing. And you don't have players that played with one team for, 10 years like that, 15, 20 years their whole career. Like that just doesn't really happen in modern sports nearly as much. Um, it's really crazy. I was texting when I was, texting with my dad. I'm like, they need to be putting like everybody they can, like anybody that will come back for a night. They need to just like pop them in the Sabres Hall of Fame. Like you need to sell tickets. You need to have those things that make the fans realize like, this is why I love this team. This is why I love this stadium and all of that stuff.
You can get like so thousands of people to come to a
Yes.
game just having those nights. Like I went to like the Megan Rapinoe getting retired, her jersey thing. Like that's a huge thing. Like I'm sure a bunch of fans, those tickets prices went up for the Eli Manning night. Like those
Mhm.
those things those people love that.
Yeah, it's huge. And like, I mean, they're not selling out that stadium. My dad was telling me, he's like, nobody here cares about this team. He told me, he's like, it's crazy that you're watching this and nobody here is. And I was like, yeah, I'm trying. So I don't know. They need to do more stuff like that. I think there's a ton of old players that they can pop in there and they can use. Just off the top of my head, I was like, man, like Thomas Vanek, Afenagenoff. I think they retired Hasek a few years ago, or they put him in the Hall of Fame. Which, if they haven't, Jesus Christ, what are you waiting for? So, yeah, Ollie, what do you got for the Kraken update?
So the Kraken, we went on to lose some games. Like I think we lost 3 out of the 4 games, and also a kind of fun thing with that was, which I noticed was like 3 or 2 out of the 3 teams we lost to, I drafted one of their jerseys in the jersey draft, or their jerseys were drafted in the jersey draft. So I was like, oh dang, maybe I shouldn't be giving them props.
Funny.
But we're in a similar situation. We're only 2 games behind. Like we only have 2 more wins than the Sabres, so the Kraken are not sitting pretty. We're beating bad teams like the Sharks again, like or just we don't rise up to good teams. We don't really like it's very inconsistent what we do, and then we play down to bad teams sometimes, but we do beat the bad teams most of the time. So it's definitely like a give and take, but as long as we're beating the Sharks, it feels so good.
Yeah, you got to beat the bad guys.
We got to beat the bad guys, but I'm kind of with you. I'm definitely going to be paying attention and like keeping track and doing that, and I want to be a fan of them, but it's always hard to be a fan when it's just not good. And like I'm a fan of some bad. I was looking at it and it was like hardest teams to root for, and Sabres were 4 and Giants were 5, and I was like, our teams are hard to root for, man.
Yeah, which I think
Kraken, I think we're way down the list, but I was like still on it. I was like, no.
Were the A's like number 1? I feel like they had to have been.
It was like, and then it was like all Chicago sports teams.
Damn. That's although, to be honest, I think that kind of makes your fandom a little more almost like important or more legitimate. Like when you're a fan of a team through the hard times and then they become good and everybody becomes a fan of it, you have this little side eye being like, screw you guys. Like you don't know what it was like during the hard times. Like you don't know X, Y, and Z player that don't play for the team anymore, but they were there bad years kind of thing. So
that's when I was watching a baseball card video, and it was this dad and his kid, and the kid loved to open packs from like the 80s and 90s, and the dad was talking about it. He was like, oh, these are the cards I opened up as a child, and he was like, and he was opening up this like pack from like 89, and he was like, oh, I remember like this season from this player, and like just like I could see myself in like 20 years like seeing a football pack of cards or something, being like, oh my god, I remember, like that part of the sport and that part of the hobby is always so cool.
Yeah, early 2000s. Like it's so funny because I'll see a podcast or something and they're talking about a lineup from like 2005, and it's like baseball ASMR where I'm just like, oh yeah, tell me about like Henry Blanco. Yeah, oh my god, like Ray Durham, you're right, he did have 3 seasons of 30 homers, like unbelievable. It's just players who are all kind of B and C list players that just like kind of make your childhood, or guys that you have like hyped up. Like Juan Pierre as a kid, I was like, he's the fastest human alive. Like that guy can steal nobody can catch him. Which, I mean, not really, but as a kid I was like, he's incredible.
That's it, yeah.
So all right, so that was our hockey update. We're gonna jump right into our V draft. Before we do that, real quick, I noticed that we got about 4 or 5 new subscribers to our YouTube channel. in the last like week or so. Really appreciate it, y'all. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate anybody that tunes in weekly with us. We got some stuff cooking. We did have a really good fantasy football league, and we're kind of working out some ideas for a potential disc golf fantasy league. So if you're interested in that, you want to be part, we'll have another winning player pack, for that kind of thing too. So comment below if you want to join our KO disc golf fantasy disc golf league. And Ollie and I will kind of work out some of the details on the side. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
We're thinking it's going to be like a redraft kind of weekly league. We're not going to do like a keeper kind of thing like that. Give you a salary, let you pick the players you want, which I think will just be fun for everybody. But we're going to figure out the little details with that, and we'll get back with you on that.
Yeah, should be fun. All right, we're going to jump right into the V draft. Yeah, we're on V this week. So we're so far in the alphabet. It's so crazy. Ollie, I will give you first pick, and we'll take the number 2, number 3. What do you got for pick number 1?
Okay. I gotta go.
Uh-oh.
I think we're gonna go pretty simple. Vanilla. The flavor. Vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
I put vanilla in my coffee. Come on, vanilla. We're going to go vanilla because I think there's a couple of other bangers I can hang on to and go with. So that'll be my one of one. And I think it's a good one of one, vanilla.
Yeah, no,
it's a little vanilla.
Yeah, little basic, little vanilla of you. Vanilla ice cream was on my list. Vanilla coffee creamer, one of my favorite. It's the coffee creamer I use every morning. So vanilla, great pick. I didn't know that was going to go number 1 overall. I'm not surprised though. Good pick. For the number 2 pick, I'm going to pick vacations. Dude, everybody loves a vacation. You go somewhere freaking dope. Last year, I think it's actually last year at this time, Ellie and I were in Italy. We were in Rome, and we went to Genoa, and we went to Milan. So a lot of fun. Vacations, awesome. I'm sure everybody's got like their favorite and least vacation story,
Yep.
Bad vacations are also kind of fun because like bad vacations suck in the moment, but 5 years later you can kind of joke and be like, oh man, that was so terrible. Like, remember like you got sick, and remember like oh, they lost our luggage, and like we had we went to the wrong hotel, like all these things that like in the time you're like, this is the worst, but afterwards like it's kind of fun stories that you have with like your partner or significant other kind of thing. So yeah, vacations. And then for the number 3 pick in here, I am going to pick I'm going to pick vintage. Like I like vintage, like clothes, vintage music, vintage records, vintage just has like a style kind of thing. It's cool. I like it. I dig it. So yeah, vintage cars, pretty dope.
Okay. Good picks there. I do love some good vintage, thrift shopping, like kind of getting some vintage drip and stuff like that. I got a vintage Giants jacket the other day.
Yeah. Dude, sportswear is the coolest form of sportswear. Like when you see, there's a woman who's at SeaTac Park who I see every morning, and she wears this vintage Colorado Rockies jacket. And the other day I was like, hey, like really, really cool jacket. And she's like, oh, I stole it from my husband, but thank you. Like it was just a sweet, like it was the old like purple. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's sick. Oh, for my second pick and the 4th pick of this draft, we're going to go with one of my favorite car brands, Volkswagen.
Okay.
Woo! Yeah, I drive a Volkswagen Jetta. I love it. My mom also drives a Volkswagen. My friend Connor just bought a Volkswagen.
Mm-hmm. You drive a
Volkswagen gang. Huh?
You say you drive a Jetta?
Yes, sir.
Is it a girl or is it a guy?
It's a girl.
Is it
Becky?
Oh, Becky. Oh, so yeah.
It's a white Jetta.
You gotta name it Jones, so you got Jetta.
Ooh, Jones. Well, it was Keisha and Becky. Roxy had a BMW named Keisha.
Nice.
I had my but then the BMW's gone, so Becky's a lone girl now.
Dang.
Yeah, sad. This is kind of like another. This is a little bit of an Ollie pick for sure. I'm really into mountains, and come with mountains, volcanoes. I love volcanoes a lot. I just went to this past summer I went to Montana and I went to Wyoming. I got to go and see and be on top of the largest active largest volcano that's in the ground. So that's pretty cool, and see like the geysers and everything. But I think volcanoes are like some of the coolest nature, like wonders of nature we have. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. Super volcano under was it Yellowstone over there?
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
the super volcano.
Yeah, once that goes, we're all just done. No chance.
No chance.
No chance.
Which is kind of cool.
Pretty interesting. You gotta think. Like,
it's like that's insane that there's just this thing that's like there that would end us all. And like there's kind of like, yeah, I could go on and on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, 100%.
That backs my pickup. Let's go.
Yeah, hit us with your super volcano facts in the comments. That'd be pretty cool. All right. For the number 6 pick of this draft, I'm gonna pick vibes. Something everybody is, sending good vibes your way. Hey, this guy's good vibes. Vibes is kind of like the popular term right now. Mostly just like, hey, this guy, kind of gives me the good, warm and fuzzies more than anything. Good vibes, good vibe people. So, vibes. And then for my number 7 pick, or for the number 7 pick and my last pick, I'm gonna pick vegetables. Yeah, big fan of vegetables.
Almost the first pick, honestly.
Yeah, and it's like, I like it because it's like kind of an array of stuff, like anything that's a vegetable. Now that does not include tomatoes, because those are a fruit. And I did not pick fruits as vegetables, so it's different. So,
not a tomato.
Not a tomato.
I love. What's your favorite? Is your favorite fruit a tomato?
No, that's not. It can't be. That's impossible. If anybody's
I want to meet that person.
Yeah, like if anybody's favorite fruit is a tomato, you're a psychopath. Or you just don't know joy and happiness. Because like an apple to a tomato, like it just doesn't hang. Like crazy.
I'm gonna go find the casual tomato eater.
That's
just like taking bites out of it.
Bro, my wife does. She'll eat like a cherry tomato, like those little ones.
Yeah.
Snack on them.
I like a caprese. I feel like that has like some of the small ones on there. Yeah.
I get eating a raw tomato. I'm not like, that's not the part that I'm hung up on. Is the fact that you would prefer a raw tomato over any other fruit. Like a banana is fucking awesome. Like that's crazy.
Banana's pretty crazy as well, yeah.
Yeah. All right, what do you got?
I think
the last pick.
There's a couple I wanted to go with. There's I liked volleyball a lot. I played it a lot growing up in like middle school and high school, but it's not my pick. There's a couple other, but versatile I really like, but not my pick.
Oh, good.
But the one I'm going with, victory.
Oh, good.
When you win, it's like, come on, victory. What's better the feeling than a victory?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with victory. I feel like even seeing the word just brought back some like the couple wins I've had on the disc golf course. Other personal victories you have.
Yeah.
Vic Royale in Fortnite. Come on, y'all.
That's a good one, man. Some of my honorable mentions, I had Violet, Vasectomy, Vaporeon, Vampire, and Vagina. So.
Oh. I also had Versace. That was another one.
Versace.
But I don't really care about it. I thought it would just be if I didn't have anything else.
Just a good V word. Yeah.
Yeah, good V word.
Yeah.
All right, episode 44. Gonna end it with one of my favorite 44s. Julio! When you find something good, something you love, hold on to it. Don't let it go. And I love Seattle. Aim high, shoot low. We'll see you next week. Peace!